Good afternoon and welcome to Primetime at the Bethel University Library. Primetime is a collaboration between the Bethel University Library Academic Affairs and other offices on campus that celebrates learning in and beyond the classroom of Bethel faculty, students, and staff. We archive videos of past presentations. If you'd like to explore them, you can find them at the Bethel University Digital Library YouTube channel or in the Spark Digital Archive. Join us for our last prime time of the year on Thursday, May 15th, when Edgewood scholars Dr. Coro and Professor of Psychology and December Political Science majors and Philosophy minor graduate Ian Young share and research their examining of the relationship between face blindness and ADHD. Today, we are celebrating the publication of the 2025 Coeval Literary Magazine. I would like to do a quick shout out for our Coeval team editors. I'm Trina Workington, your head editor with Amy Bloomberg. For our fiction editors, we have Sadie Butine, Emily Costa, and myself. For creative nonfiction editors, we have Kay Burma, Emily Costa, and Amy. For poetry editors, we have Michael Harrell and Lauren Groff. Our art editors are Tiana Higgins and Michael again. Design editors are Brett Holston, Tiana, and our faculty advisor for this semester is Angela Shannon Preston. I'd like to read our editor's note for you all. Dear reader, on behalf of the Coeval editing team, we proudly present the 2025 issue of Bethel University's Coeval Literary Magazine. As you read through this journal, you will find poetry, prose, fiction, and visual art about the beauties and hardships of life. Together, Bethel University students and faculty contributed to making this magazine happen. We loved reading each submission and viewing every art piece. More than anything, we look forward to what the students will continue to create. Thank you for reading. Sincerely, the Coeval editing team. I'd now like to welcome up Kaylee Tan with her first reading.
I will be reading Reflections, a poetry piece. To the girl who used to look in the mirror and make silly faces every day. Where are you? Why have you run away? Are you playing hide and seek, waiting for me to count to 20 because I guess 18 years isn't enough time to find a good place to hide? So did I lose you in the walk-in closet, hidden among racks of hand-me-down expectations and old, dusty accomplishments? Or are you hiding in the dark, eyeing my stacks of multicolored personalities, neatly folded and crafted, stored in the drawers of my mind, just waiting to be worn, for a time when I will show the world that I can be cool too? Just tell me what to do, and I'll pair each personality with a different laugh, a different smile, a different voice, so maybe I can become somebody's choice, so maybe people will finally choose me, or at least the person I've always wanted to be. Like that goofy little girl in the mirror, who doesn't cry over every ugly outfit or unpolished look, who doesn't care about every hairstyle or all the time it took, who doesn't see every part of me that doesn't match every part of that random internet girl entirely built by society. Can you just let me have that little girl back? Because I have searched for her. Each time I look in the mirror, I have searched for her in the form of music and writing, but this fighting from within never seems to stop. I can't find her no matter how hard I try. Is she still playing hide and seek? This time she is hiding from me. Scared out of her mind because this is no more fun. Scared of who she will find, scared of the someone I've become. Because I'm scared of the girl in the mirror too. The one that I see now. The one who hurts and dreams too big. The one who disappoints, who is broken deep down. So to the girl who used to look in the mirror and make silly faces every day, I will never stop looking for you. Though I've lost you to the piles of self-consciousness and the mess of life's ways, I will find you and bring you back. I promise. Someday. Next poem is titled Fantasy Girl. Once, I longed to be the title character in a fantasy novel. Brave, strong, secretly special on the inside. To be a princess with a shining countenance, a soul spun from sunset clouds, to be a heroine, dauntless with sword in hand, ruby daggers glinting in moonlight, heeding to danger's beck and call. To be someone to somewhere, to be someone, just to be at all. Fantasy is perfect in an imperfect way, the way the willows weep and the forest hums in song, and the castle walls groan in extended longing, the way the meadow yawns where dancing daisies lie and dragons ring slivers of fire through the night sky. But real life isn't like that. Fantasy was my getaway, to get away from the fact that I could never be the princess because my heels would break when I make a mistake, the crown slips, fleeing from an unworthy head. I could never be the valiant hero in all her glory, my thoughts and feelings daggers that never took down the enemy, but only my own esteem. I could never win, facing myself in a fight, brave and beautiful, words that never lined the pages of my life. And so if I couldn't be the strongest, who was I to be then at all? The one in the background, who simply fades with the author's words, a bird losing its feathers, a girl lost in violent weather, a forgotten figure, a voice drowned beneath the pages. Did I even have a choice? Was I written as a sidekick and not the hero in my own tale? They say the journey is the most important, that you must always read to the end. But after 18 long chapters, the resolution is so hard to find amidst the convolution of my whirling mind. But hard never means impossible, so these books have shown me. And in truth, reality is never made easier by living in a fantasy. Though I once wished to be the title character in a fantasy novel, brave, strong, secretly special on the inside, I don't wish this anymore. Not to be a princess with shining countenance or have a soul made of sunset clouds. Not to be a heroine daring to conquer the world. With double-edged swords and ruby daggers, now I know. Behind these torn pages, amid the windstorm of my words, I mean something to someone. I am someone to somewhere. Someone, after all. And finally, I will be reading a short excerpt from my fiction piece, The Balloon Man. No one knows the name of the balloon man, but he always asks the names of every person he gives balloons to. No one knows where he will be, as he often wanders the streets in search of a good place to station for the day. Polished black Oxfords clack against uneven cobblestone roads as the balloon man makes his way to the river Thames. Street lights flicker as a downpour begins, sky darkening, and heads turn to watch the balloon man in curiosity and incredulity. Their stares bore into the back of his dark burgundy tailcoat, but he keeps walking, his head high. The balloon man stops for no one. Julio, stop! He was so young back then. He didn't know what would happen. Julio's older sister, Constantina, was thrusting her hand out to him, the flamingo charm of her beaded bracelet shaking violently back and forth. Julio was hypnotized by the movements, his mud-brown eyes drawn to every swing of the pink flamingo. He didn't hear the current of the creek begin to pick up, or see the way the water battered against the stones he was using to cross to the other side. He just didn't understand why that flamingo bracelet was so important to her. All he did was tie it to one of his balloon animals. Maybe he did sell said balloon animal to the neighborhood girl, and just maybe Constantina had to buy it back with her own money at triple the selling price. Their aunt, who had taken care of them, as any aunt of two orphans would, was furious. Julio was just mainly furious at Constantina. She always found ways to ruin his fun. Thunder boomed in the background, bringing Julio back to his senses. Julio, stop! Come back, it's dangerous! Constantina's eyebrows narrowed, but her eyes spoke volumes. She was actually scared for him. Julio thought, this will be fun. He crossed his small arms in defiance and stared daggers at his sisters. With feet planted firmly on the cold stone, he yelled, Julio Santiago Garcia III stops for no one, and turned his back on Constantino. He heard his name being called, in anger at first, but then it grew softer and softer. Julio stepped forward, then again and again until the bank was closer than ever. All he could see was a steep wall of rocks he would have to climb up to get to the other side. And then all he could hear was a plea in his sister's voice, and it seemed so far away. Julio, It was like a whisper, the 6th time she had called his name. He wanted to ignore her, just like he had the 5 times before, but something in Julio's gut didn't feel right. Whether it was the wind picking up or the way the branch above him was on the verge of snapping and crashing into the creek, or the way he could still hear the jangle of Constantina's flamingo charm, or the methodical splashing of water, everything was screaming at him not to turn around. Another crack of thunder sounded, darker, closer, and solid enough to make Julio stop in his tracks. Julio whipped his head around, black curls suddenly blowing in the wind. And that's when he noticed that the water had reached his knees, and he began to feel the downpour of the cloud's cries on his shoulder. And there Constantina was, face down in the creek, her dark hair splayed out around her, the flamingo charm still tied to her submerged wrist. The mud-brown eyes that had been so full of hatred moments before emptied in horror as Julio watched the creek become red around his sister's body, realizing what he had heard wasn't thunder. Teeny, he half called, half wailed, his nickname for her no longer a tease but a cry. He said more, but each word was swallowed by the wind and the raging of the water. His feet moved like the lightning behind him as he reached out to lift Constantina from the creek. His fingers hit the biting cold of the water, his muscles clenching as the water crawled up his back. Julio heaved his body against Constantina's, but only managed to free her head from the monstrous creek. Julio felt his confidence start to weaken. Whenever his sister stood next to him, even despite the height difference, Julio felt so big and brave and strong. But now Constantina was lying unconscious in the creek, and Julio had never felt so small.
Hello, I will be reading my poem, Take Your Own Advice. Underneath the rubble and debris, a country has been buried, and the world has told me to listen and see. Our government mutes any identity that doesn't change and vary after years of being told what to be. And when I challenge every decree, every single time unfairly, the world has told me to listen and see. The same thing happened with the Nazis, when those who stood by remained unwary after years of being told what to be. Why won't the world listen to my plea? When change refuses, law miscarried, the world has told me to listen and see. I watch history replay in the scene each day and wait as we continue to tarry. Yet after years of being told what to be, the world has told me to listen and see. I am also going to be reading my fiction piece, if I can find the page. Or at least part of my fiction piece. I think. Right? I think I'll start from the beginning and get to the second page. We'll see where I feel like ending it. Alright, it's called Cardinal Directions. I hadn't seen Evie for years. There was so much I wanted to say, and so much I wanted to ask her. My mind raced as I thought of every moment we shared, every fight we had, and how it ate at me ever since. It churned inside my stomach as, out of habit, I crossed one leg over the other. I couldn't have been more excited to see her after all this time. I traced my finger around the rim of a steaming coffee mug, absent-mindedly nibbling away at a small breakfast sandwich as I waited for her. The coffee shop I sat inside of was just off the bustling highway, nestled into a dingy strip mall in the middle of an over-urbanized town. Snow gingerly stuck itself to the window outside, melting and dripping off the surface as I watched an empty parking lot in anticipation. It's the best coffee you'll ever have, I swear, Evie insisted to me during our last phone call before our meeting. I kept thinking about her energetic voice. It was so full of life. She still sounded the same as the day we had met. It was just turning fall. The leaves had begun to perish into a tapestry of merlot, gold, and rust. The night sky hung above me, an endless horizon of stars cascading past my view into the canvas of trees. The only illumination near was a single lamppost flickering above my head. The street before me curved off around a corner, consumed by the darkness surrounding me. I stood with my hands in my coat pockets, my breath puffed out into the night, wisping away as I inhaled once more. Impatiently, my shivering foot tapped against the asphalt pavement beneath it, as my eyes darted back and forth down the street. Then I saw the bright headlights gleam down the lane. Squirrels and rabbits around me scampered for cover as the cab continued to grow closer, rolling to a stop. I pulled open the handle of the back seat and saw her sitting there, looking out the window opposite of me. She sat bundled in a hickory coat much too large for her, one leg crossed over the other. The driver turned to me as I stepped inside of the vehicle. He started taking off as soon as the door closed behind me. "Where to?" he asked, his jaded voice worn and scratchy like the pavement he drove on. "Home. Wells Place, I mean. The complex." As I spoke, her head snapped and met my eyes. For a moment, both of us just looked at one another. I tried not to stare, but every feature of her face spoke to me. Her soft, sepia curls outlining her cheeks sang gentle songs of love to me. Her plush lips, glossed over with hurried lipstick, curved at the corners into a grin towards me, speaking so much without saying anything. And although she smiled, her wide-set eyes cried out to me behind the frames of her glasses, a stunning hazel painted with touches of blue. Then she broke the silence, every word full of life and energy. "Wells Place," she chuckled, her laugh cementing my already strong beliefs about her. "You can't be serious. That's where I live. How have I never seen you around?" I laughed awkwardly, hoping to break the tension left by our prior staring contest. "Well, it's a big place. I haven't lived there long either." I grabbed onto my sleeve, thinking of what more to say. I had to say something, or this could be the only time we ever saw each other. What's your name?" "Evie. What's yours?" Her smile persisted, and I avoided her eyes so as to not show her how red I was turning. "I'm Wren." "Like the bird!" Her laugh graced my ears once more. As we continued to talk, her words were like a blanket around my insecurities. Every doubt I had about talking to her in the first place was quelled. And that's where I'll end it. Thank you.
Hi. Next we have Amelia Keeler reading her poetry.
My first piece is titled Something by the Flower Hill. Something by the flower hill, a long-lost, unheard mandolin, a relic of a simpler time, but I can't make it sing. So with a mandolin, what would I do? Hang it on the wall to be viewed often? But no, it would feel lone and unworthy, would be still unheard, then lost again. Something by the flower hill, a long-lost, unheard instrument. I left it there to be found else time, but its strings have struck my sentiment. My next piece is titled Racing. They told me to measure my worth by the speed of the wind on my face and my composed and ever steady pace, as if I was nothing more than the miles I had left in the race. But I learned to run in the dips and swells of hills, mounting mountains green and rolling, the land calling from afar, seeking to go faster than my steady beating heart, just for the rush.
Alrighty, next we have Elise Peterson.
Hi, friends. All right, my first piece is titled Golden Sun Season. Well, maybe I do enjoy the golden sun season. Maybe when the drying grass sends off the lush of summer, it soaks up the light to replace the burning of my soul. The trees in their final weeps send off their dying children with a flourish, an array of colors they requested for their mother to bring them before they are gone. The brutality of winter, with its harsh breath, has not woven its way into the wind just yet. The sparrows still glide in the just forgiving air, My coats have been made a home on the hanger, yet they are not hanging on my frame. Possibly, that is something to be grateful for, that the summer has just begun to fall. My next piece is called The Perfect Woman. I am the perfect woman. I wake up and I roll out of bed with my hair long and luscious, and I never use the bathroom. I am the perfect woman. I pull my skin back with polished rocks, and I collect your gazes upon me and frame them above my wall. Am I good enough for you? I am the perfect woman. I never curse and my breasts are never sore. When I walk, I do so with confidence, but not so much that you'll be irritated. I am the perfect woman. I will love other women until they wrong me. Then I will hate them until we are both dead. I go to class and twirl my hair for you. Just so you know, where you go, I go. I am the perfect woman. I will change my outfit until your favorite color is on my skin. I know you will appreciate it, unless you won't. Then I will change again. I am the perfect woman. When I cry, I will do so with diamonds under my eyes, and gold over my mouth, and rubies in my blood. I am the perfect woman. Other women wish they could be me. I am desirable. I am valuable. I am the perfect woman. My third piece is The Wind's Language. And when I wake up with my fingerprints and the curtains blowing in the wind, the birds are calling me to wake, so that is what I do. The sun has greeted me yet again. Who am I to brush it by? I am of earth, water, and sky. But the breath of God is what makes me rise. And I wake up to the clouds peeking through. I have my own thoughts, my own heart which beats still. I am given another day. The grass stretches through the gaps of my toes. I will get them tattooed along my ankles, but for now, I will stand and enjoy what the wind has to say. And for my final piece is The Forever Tree. Enriched in the beauty of sun and dawning, or lack thereof, I love the earth carefully, as if it will leave me if I burr too hard. But then I remember, island dresses for island, for the reiterative call of sea. I rest my hip bones, which pop when I take too deep a breath, against the forever tree. With my palms against mud, I feel clean, like the press of my weight is frivolity along Earth in orbit. Here, my crooked spine aligns with the fissures of bark, and it becomes beautiful. My tailbone, aching gloriously, breaks itself in with roots and worms' blind sanctuary. Beyond the honey hives and my damp jeans pruning the blood from the backs of my knees, I feel the recognition of wind, and it calls me lover. I want the relief of its greeting. I want it to walk me home. I want its hand, and I take it. The exchange between our stillness and our weeping has become a familiar sound. We feel profound together, as if the wind knows about the starts and ends and what they mean to me. Like wind and the brown bear, I am split between a coward who runs at the raise of a voice and the one who must be louder. But when I rest against the forever tree, it shows me the blades of grass verdant and innocent. They twiddle in the presence of the terrestrial natives, and I relax. The ant and the caterpillar wash over each other's driveways by their brimming mailboxes. They are careful about stepping on toes and when to tabulate dinner parties. I'm getting older again, and I'm still sad like I was when I was as tall as a cattail. The unexplainable desire of wanting to go back slumps me abysmally into the guise of soil. I want to be enveloped in the beauty of the earthen like I actually believe I am one of its own. Born in a way that is eye to eye with soul, I tow my gloriously aching tailbone up with my torso. I pull myself up, and I pull myself up. The tableau around me seems wistfully abstracted, but I know sun and island and sea and bark and roots and worm and wind and earth and soul gather around the forever tree, and they see the seams of my palms press into the mud, and they hear me cry, and they inculcate me to listen to them now. Gather around the forever tree. They see the seams of my palms press into the mud, and they hear me cry. They know me, and they know the stretch to go on, and they have listened to me, and they inculcate me to listen to them now. As I rest against the forever tree, I recognize the intimate face that bands me. I greet my lover and dine with intention of sleeping above the blanket moss and under the stars. Resigning from myself, I allow my crooked spine to be beautiful, and I take too deep a breath. Pop. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eleanor. I'm a painter of Timeless Woman. I'm an English education major here and a self-taught artist. My painting process of the Timeless Woman began with the idea of a woman draped in clothes in which the viewer is unable to discern what era she is from. There are no identifiable trends in her clothing, makeup, or hair. She is the Timeless Woman. I took a lot of inspiration also from the Renaissance period and the artists from then, and I love the classical style. I've had an obsession with like the Renaissance period since I was like 8, and that's just kept going, I guess. And I really wanted to portray that in my painting. Thank you.
I'm Caleb. I am a graphic design major here. So this is Quiet Happiness, Silent Tears, and it was heavily based on Japanese ukiyo-e woodblock prints. And I used a lot of symbols from Japanese culture, such as like the black cat. It's a symbol of prosperity and protection against evil. And then the red spider lilies are a symbol of death. But then the cherry blossoms, the pink flowers, they represent hope and renewal. So ultimately together, they represent the aspects of life and death. And the piece is meant to reflect the quiet beauty and sorrow that define the cycle of life and death.
Hello.
My name is Cade Nystrom. I am a technical communication major at Metro State and then taking some classes here as well. I photographed this zinnia flower last October while on the apple orchard with some PSEO friends from here. And since it was so late in the season, all of the flowers and the trees and everything, there was very little fruit left on any of the trees, very few blossoms left anywhere. But I noticed this small flower growing next to a bunch of the older dead ones, and I just really liked kind of how the contrast between the life and the death in the same frame. So even though I didn't send it the flower on purpose because I wanted to draw a bit of attention to the closer dead leaf on the right, and I just really liked the contrast of having a little bit of life. Even though it's so late in the season, there's always a little bit of spark and hope and everything. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kay. I'm the creative nonfiction editor, and I'll be reading an excerpt today from the piece Is Heaven for Real by Abby Chalmers, since she couldn't be here. I hope it has cheetahs, I said, chasing a limp green bean around my lunch tray. The cafeteria was bursting with life, every plastic chair filled with an elementary student, the air thick with body heat and shrill voices. I hope it has Kodiak bears, the boy across the table from me, Jack, shoved a piece of raw broccoli into his mouth. He liked to call them oko trees, and became exuberant whenever the cafeteria served it. He was the kind of kid that put everyone else to shame with his intellect, hyperfixating on and learning as much as possible about every topic, from meteorology to niche facts about 80s rock bands. He was still chewing as he added, "They're my favorite kind of bear." "Do you think I can still do gymnastics?" At my side, Jenna, my on-again, off-again best friend, peeled back the plastic wrapping on her deep dish pizza Lunchable. Her parents, both pharmacists, could afford to buy her nice Lunchables, not the cheap, bland flatbreads that my parents, both teachers, bought me once a week. 3 kids, no older than 8, discussing heaven at an elementary's lunch table. 3 kids, the smartest in the class, rattling off favorite animals and plants and other things that we hoped would be in heaven once we got there. For us, it was never a question of if we would get there, only when. "Are you afraid of death?" My heartbeat pulsed against the watch around my wrist, hammering out a steady beat of 175 love dubs per minute. Crumbling pieces of asphalt crunched underfoot as I glanced over at my running partner, Brett, searching his face for a sign that I wasn't alone. He paused, eyebrows cinching together in contemplation as the bitter winter wind snapped at his cheeks and ruffled his hair. I mean, yeah, I want to keep living. There are things I haven't done, things I haven't said. No, I mean, are you scared of what will happen to you after you die? The words tasted sour in my frowning mouth as I fixed my eyes on the hill ahead, my quads burning with the strain. He let out a sort of laugh, and a smile tugged at my lips despite my inner dissonance. That's the kind of question you have to ask me with a gun to my head. I held my tongue, suppressing the urge to blurt out, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I won't go to heaven. I'm afraid that I'm not good enough and that I need to do better, and it's not that I'm afraid that I'll go to hell, but I'm afraid that of not having control over eternity because it isn't my decision, and I can't stand when something isn't my decision. And I want all of the things to be something I'm in charge of, and my stomach is churning with anxiety because I know death is inevitable, and I feel helpless, and I'm afraid.
All right, that concludes our Coeval reading event. Thank you guys so much for coming, and huge thanks to our editors team, and thank you to everyone who submitted, and all of you who came up and read. And please submit to Coeval next year. Thank you so much.